Hello, and welcome to the Lighten Up podcast with Lauren Polly, your invitation for living on the lighter side of life. I'm Lauren Polly, and I am delighted you've chosen to join me today for episode 156, Reclaiming Your Energy. I think this is a huge conversation and one that ebbs and flows, as does our life, ups and downs and twists and turns. We go through a lot of periods in our lives where we have tons of energies, where our bodies are feeling really good. We kind of feel well rested and energetic. We've got a lot of pop to our step. There's a lot of enthusiasm. We also have a lot of creative energy that comes into the mix with that too, where the ideas that we have are more kind of flourishing in our space. We have the added energy to actually pursue them. We have added energy above our day-to-day to actually go out and enjoy our life and our living. Instead of kind of coming home and, crashing on the sofa and zoning out for hours and hours on end, we have this creative pop to be able to get out and about and actually create something new and different. As I said, this ebbs and flows a lot. I mean, a lot of you listening out there, I'm sure you can relate, where there are times in your life where you're going through a little bit more, or you're going through a big change point and you feel a little more depleted or worn on, where you need a little bit more downtime, perhaps. Your body needs to rest. And also those very fascinating, interesting, creative lulls that we all go through, where there may not be a fresh pot of ideas come into play. Or the ideas are there, but the actual follow through, having enough energy to take that initiative and take action on it, is a little bit dried up. And then, of course, unfortunately, we all go through those stages in our lives where that socialization and that enjoyment of living, for some reason, just seems a little bit more effort than it's worth, and we take more of an inward turn. There's nothing wrong with any of this. I think it's really important to keep in mind that life is undulating. Life is moving. We are movable and changeable. I don't think it is realistic to think that you're going to go 1,000% of the time. I've caught myself in that crazy perspective multiple times and had to walk my way back. Also, a lot of my coaching clients go into the exact same thing of like, wow, I was having a lot of creative energy to start my business and start this creative project, and everything's just gone flat. I don't feel like doing anything. And it's always a conversation I love to introduce, because how often do we go into that there is something wrong if our bodies feel more tired, or if the creative juices start to dry up a little bit, or that we kind of want to pull away from people and take some more quiet space. We go into wrongness quite a little bit with that. Step number one to be able to have more ease with the ebbs and the flows is just to know that it's not wrong. It's just a part of life. Life goes up and down, and you as a being, you're going to be having expressive outward moments where there's a lot of energy that you can dive in with. You're also going to have those inward, quieter moments where perhaps your body has to rest. Perhaps taking a more inward focus is really healing and soothing to you. And perhaps more of a listening at that moment, not a creative expression, is what's required to get you to the next step. So before we dive into these tips and tricks I'm going to share today to reclaim your energy, I wanted to put that out there. That the kind of lie that we're told of going 100% all the time and having endless energy, sometimes I think sticks a lot of people. So no matter what, have ease with yourself, regardless of where you find yourself in this conversation. I've been through kind of an interesting past year or so. If you've been listening to the show, you probably know that not only am I doing my life coaching business and my podcast and writing book number 2, I actually went back to work full-time at a hospital in a new position. I'm actually a manager now, and I chose it for a number of reasons, but one being that the schedule is super, super flexible. I can work from home half the time. I make my own schedule. So for me, running my own business and seeing my clients, it actually works out really well. It's an easeful juggling act. What I didn't anticipate was how much of my energetic bandwidth it would use. So even though my schedule has that flexibility and I've got that time, I've been finding myself really tired. My body's been a little bit more tired and kind of wanting to rest on the sofa a lot after work. I've been a little bit more inward focused at moments, and my creative energy to actually do the follow through to have my creations come to life hasn't been as vibrant as it has in the past. And again, I kind of knew my thing with this was more circumstantial. I knew it was a new job. I was learning new energies and new ways of being with this job. So sometimes that takes up a little bit more of your bandwidth. But I've made a lot of changes in the past couple of weeks that's really started to shift it. And that's what I want to impart to you all today, to see what maybe you can start to explore and change in your own life and living, regardless of what new boundary you're starting to stretch and maybe getting a little bit tired in the process. So if you're anything like me, which I know most of you are, you have been exploring self-help tools, consciousness tools, holistic tools throughout probably your whole lives to varying degrees. I'm a registered yoga teacher. I teach meditation. I am a life coach. I have all my energy certifications. I've done a whole bunch of work in a whole bunch of different ways. And what I find is kind of diving really, really deep into one and kind of forgetting about the other ones for a little while, kind of shiny object syndrome. Sometimes it's needed because in order to really get the breadth of a new body of work, diving in deep, totally luxuriating in it is really, really cool. One of the things that I love to play with, which I don't see a lot of other people choosing, and part of my invitation today, is to not just dive in and forget about everything else you've learned, but being able to actually revisit all of the tools you've used before, maybe mix them up a little bit, maybe use them in a different way with what you've learned recently, and see what would be different and see what would actually contribute to you. For a long time, I haven't actually been doing a lot of routine stuff. I've been enjoying more of my freedom, where years ago when I was heavy into yoga and meditation, I had kind of more of daily practices that I did really to set my intention and to stop myself from getting distracted by all of life's interestingness, other people's drama, stressors out and about in the daily world. I've reintroduced that lately. I've actually been getting up early before my alarm says to get up. And even on the weekends, I've been getting up. And this is the first thing that I do. I don't turn to my phone. I don't get on ever addictive Facebook or go into my emails and start getting lost. I actually spend that first hour quiet with myself, actually visiting my inner space, getting clear, getting present with my body, and then setting intention and asks for the day and for the future. So this can look a myriad of different ways depending on what tools you've used in the past. I've been playing with more of a body scan meditation of actually sitting down and really getting present with my body, allowing my awareness to go from the tip top of my head slowly over the course of 15 minutes all the way down to my tippy toes. Inviting all of my energy tools to come and play with my molecules and relax and really get present with, okay, this is my body this morning. Immediately, I notice a huge presence change with my physical body. I also notice more pleasure with my body and way more energy. You guessed it. So I've been finding that a delightful way to start the day. After that, after connecting really, really deep in more of a meditative state and saying hi to my body, I've been playing with what it is I would like in my living. And not in a way of like X equals Y or tomorrow may be nice to have this. I've been playing with outrageous asks. Really, truly, if I could have anything, if I could take my business anywhere, if I could have the impact on people in my life that I would love to have, if I could have people in my living who supported me and were here for me and had my back for me in an even deeper way, if I could have the money I desired, all of this stuff. And as I talk here, just play with me for a second. Say hi to your body. And get the energy of if you actually were doing work that continually expanded, had a self-generating quality so that you didn't have to work so hard. It actually played with you and generated with you and had momentum in of itself. If you were able to double your income and then perhaps triple your income and then perhaps times that by 10 coming in the future. If you could be supported with people who were fun to be around, who had your back and opened you up to new ways of seeing things. If you could have a relationship with your body that felt delicious and was pleasure-based, not pain-based or limitation-based, what would be different? Spending time each morning really getting clear and letting that body that you just said hello to and tickled the molecules awake, really allowing that to be more and more alive and bringing this energy in of the future you'd like to have. The living, and future doesn't mean 10 years from now. Future can be the next 10 seconds. Actually allowing your body and you to start being that energy. Revisiting it and making it a clear ask and demand, this is what I'm going for, has been dynamic for me. And then once you get up after saying hi to your body, making these asks and really being that energy and playing with that, going about your day to day in a way where, number one, you're listening and you're paying attention. When anything kind of matches that energy you were asking for, that's a sign. That's your awareness. That's the life that is waiting for you, beckoning you over. Staying present, not getting distracted, staying present and listening and paying attention will actually allow you to follow that. This is the way the universe will actually show you how to create that living you're asking for. And then another huge thing with that I've noticed is keeping my eye on the prize, so to speak. So even when I go to work and there's a lot of stuff I'm dealing with, not taking my eyes off the prize. Going, okay, cool, this is what I'm dealing with in this moment. Absolutely, I can handle this. But it's not going to take all of my attention. It's not going to take all of my creative energy. It's not even going to take all of my physical energy to be here with this. I'm going to allow myself to still have everything I'm going for in the bigger picture. What we do so often, and I get one of the bigger drains on our energy is we get distracted by our environment. We get distracted by other people. And we take that bigger perspective, that bigger ask that we have for the future, and those listening ears that we have to follow those whispers when it comes, and we contract it all. We get distracted, we contract, and all we start paying attention to is what's in front of us. Other people's dramas, the stressors at work, and our day-to-day routines. And if you listened to last week's episode all about how to create change, we got into this big time. We talked about how habits and doing the same thing over and over and over again produces, guess what? The same exact results. It grooves you in deeper. So taking that episode and taking this one, actually looking at keeping your eyes on the prize and listening, being open to change and moving a little bit in a different direction is massive. For me, I've just been noticing such a different space where I am super clear and present with what I'm asking for in a different way. My body has more energy. My body has more pleasure, which is super delicious and I love. And then my creative juices are flowing, being able to actually have these creative ideas where things are coming easier than they were a couple weeks ago. Having the creative energy and the energy left in my bandwidth to actually employ them and take action on them has been huge. And of course, that all-important enjoyment factor. If you're looking for a lighter living, that enjoyment factor is huge in everything, in relationships, in business, in body health, and it's something that we don't pay enough attention to. Being able to set this intention in the morning, getting really clear with these outrageous asks and staying with it, reminding yourself of it throughout the day, and allowing yourself really to unwind after moments of stress or distractions. At the end of the workday, I've been actually sitting down and for a second seat of meditation to unwind the day. And then I have a whole new bandwidth of energy for enjoying the evening. And that's looked like everything. I've been out enjoying nature. I've been having dinner with friends. I've been creating different creative projects. It's quite fascinating to me, spending some time really tuning into yourself, your body, your bigger ask, staying with it and present during the day, not allowing that distraction to come in, reminding yourself as needed, and then allowing yourself to unwind after periods where you were distracted has really been changing a lot for me. The enjoyment of living really comes with that changeability and that movability. So being able to employ these really simple strategies that I'm sharing with you, I hope will take your life in a whole new direction. You can dive in as deep as you desire, or just kind of play with one or two as it pops, whatever suits your mood, whatever works for you. What quiet space could you take in the morning? Whether that is journaling, spending a quiet cup of coffee with no one else around to chit chat with, paying out in nature, meditating, being able to play with daily asks that you're looking for, energy pulls for your future, and then setting that all important, outrageous ask for what you'd like your life to morph magically into. Being present with it throughout the day and allowing yourself to stay that way will actually recharge your batteries in a totally different way than your traditional self-care or mindfulness techniques. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Play with this content a little bit more. Again, last week's episode was really big in the changing the habit conversation. After you start looking at changing your habits and maybe employing some of this stuff today, I'm wondering what these two episodes combined could actually create for you, your body, and your future. Have an amazing week. And as always, I will chat Tuesday.